Hi, everyone. So this is Sandra with Raising Math Superstars, and I wanted to come on and share with you guys some tips about the online Homeschool Moms Conference, the 2020 conference that's coming up. You may have seen my email about this already or seen something I posted, but I wanted to come on here so I could share my screen with you and share some of my own thoughts about how to make the most of an opportunity like this. So I'll start at the beginning. The Homeschool Mom Conference, I have a screen right here. Hang on one second. Okay, is coming up starting Monday, I believe, but the early bird pricing is going on right now. So first of all, before I dive into the details on this, the idea behind an online homeschool conference started way back before everybody was kind of stuck at home and had to do things online. So this is, I believe, the third year that this particular conference has been going on. And it is a gathering of, I don't know the number of speakers, but there's 99 speaking sessions in here. So there's a ton of homeschool curriculum creators, brands, there's bloggers, homeschool moms who just have decades of experience, people with subject matter specific experience, people who have a lot of different life experience homeschooling with different homeschooling styles. So a homeschool conference is a way to bring all of that together and package it in a way that we can share it with homeschoolers or anybody considering homeschooling. So I know the whole world is kind of suddenly finding themselves homeschooling. So whether you're new to homeschooling or whether you're still homeschooling, I think there's a lot in this that will be helpful to you. And before I say too much more about it, I want to let you know the early bird ticket is only $12. So there is definitely something in here that will be worth $12 to you. And now I'm going to kind of jump in and show you what the highlights of this are. So this conference has 99 sessions, speaking sessions. It has a digital swag bag. So it's comparing it to an actual conference. If you were to go to an actual conference, you usually get a bag of goodies. So these are digital coupons, freebies, things from all of the speakers and vendors for this conference. So between the freebies and the coupons and the discounts, it's valued at over $500. So that's a really good deal. Then there's the online vendor hall. So just like in a conference, you would walk through the vendor hall and learn more about what options you have available and get conference discounts. You'll get that here. And then there's a community hall, online community hall, where you'll get to meet the vendors. The speakers will be there speaking in person. There'll be prizes and giveaways. So there's a lot going on. It will start next week, and it will, for the length of time that the conference is running, those online aspects will be there. The vendor hall, the community where you'll get to meet the speakers and vendors. And okay, and then you'll have a lot of the coupons last during that week, or maybe a little bit beyond that. Then for the rest of your life, you'll have access to all of the speaking sessions. So this is what I wanted to share with you. My recommendations for how to make use of something like this. So I was talking with a friend recently about this conference, and we were talking about how more is not always more. So I'm kind of mentally a minimalist. As you can tell from my background, I'm not actually a minimalist, but I do like the idea of just letting things into your life that are only going to make it better, not just crowding yourself. But if you guys could see my room, I don't actually do that. I pick up everything I can possibly get, and I like having it around. So I'm somewhere in the middle. But when it comes to a conference like this, there are 99 sessions, and I will get to the highlights of that. There definitely is something in here for everyone. So I was talking with her, and we're just kind of trying to wrap our heads around, what do you do with something that's kind of information overload like this? So what you need to, the best way to approach something like this is just to consider, like you're going into a vendor hall or a homeschool convention or something, you're going to find something that fits your style, that matches your stage of life, and that's just helpful for you. So with that in mind, as I was talking to her and thinking about my own situation, I went through the list titles of the 99 courses there, sessions in this conference, And I found some that I think for me are going to be incredibly helpful. So let me show you how to get to this if you want to look at it yourself. Okay, so the link is no longer listed there. Hold on one second. Okay, so the link is in the description and should be coming up on the screen here. Okay, so when you go to this page, you will, I'm going to make it full screen just for a minute here. You will scroll down and see the full list of session titles and descriptions. Okay, so take a minute to kind of go through and see what applies to you, what would be helpful, because we're all here. Some of us are just considering homeschooling for the first time. Some of us are, 30-year veterans. So something in here applies to everyone because there's a wide variety of speakers in this. So let me point out some that I'm particularly excited about. There are, and actually, I'm just going to come back and talk. Hold on one second. Okay, so I've been learning more about the Charlotte Mason homeschooling style and really like what I've been hearing. So there's some in there about applying Charlotte Mason principles to your homeschooling that I'm going to be checking out. There's some on eclectic homeschooling, how you kind of piecemeal the best of everything that fits you and just make learning work for you, not try to fit yourself or your children in any certain box. There's one that sounds amazing about natural learning. Again, I kind of gravitate towards that because it really matches my style. So you can go through the list with your own glasses on this, see what matches you and what you'd like to learn more about. And again, it's delivered right to you. So you don't have to go out on all these rabbit trails of research or read different books or different blogs. It's all in one package delivered to you. So you can pick and choose and listen and get that perspective from somebody who's been homeschooling with that style for maybe decades, and get the best of what they've learned about it and what they have to share about it. So I personally kind of lean towards eclectic life schooling, probably somewhere in the Charlotte Mason realm. There's also some I'd love to hear more about planning. There's several about planning. And as I explained, my head is kind of split between things. So I like the idea of planning, but I also tend to be this kind of person, just doing everything spontaneously. So I'm interested in hearing more about those ones. There's some about doing structured co-ops, so even more than maybe what you have available in your community. And then there's some on the kind of other side, maybe you could say, on deschooling. So if you're new to homeschooling, let me just say, most homeschoolers go through a period when they transition from public school to homeschooling of what we call deschooling, because the whole mindset behind homeschooling is re-envisioning what learning looks like. And so it takes a period of deschooling to get into a new mindset and see how that's going to work for your family, for your values, for everything. So there's some really, really good resources on that. And I'm looking forward to those classes on that. And then unschooling is a fascinating topic. I know that sounds probably scary to people who are currently public schooling and just find themselves homeschooling because of the situation in the world right now. But if you're at all intrigued by the word unschooling, this is not my course and I don't know what the person's going to speak about, but I just want to put in a plug to check out this session if you do purchase it. The word unschooling comes from John Holt, who was one of the original probably the original leader in the unschooling movement. And he used the way the term uncola was being used. So I think I'm getting this right. They were creating the Pepsi company, and they wanted to describe it as different than cola that was originally on the market. So they were trying to come up with a way to describe it, and they just wanted to say it's uncola. I hope that's right. I think that's what I was reading about it. But that's so he was using that term that at that time was a popular culture term and applied it to his view of changing, like a radical change on how we approach education and what learning fundamentally means. So that's where the term unschooling comes from. So I think we've lost that phrase in our culture of uncola, and when we hear unschooling, we think wild and free. And that, to some people, that's amazing. To some people, that's scary. But I don't think that's representative of what unschooling is. So I can do a whole nother session on unschooling if anybody's interested. But I just wanted to throw that out there. Okay, then besides the general kind of philosophy of homeschooling, there are several subject-specific sessions that will be here. There's several on math, and I'm doing 2 of them on math. Well, 1 of them on math. But I noticed that there's other speakers doing math games, ways to make math real in real life. There's history, there's writing. I'm also doing one on, let me just tell you my 3 sessions right now. So I have one whole session on DIY math manipulatives, and I prepared the session ahead of time, but I think it's even more relevant at the moment when we're kind of in our own houses and it's not easy to go out and get new toys, new supplies, new anything. So my whole session is about using what you have on hand at home to create those math manipulatives that will help kids learn. So I spell out like a ton of different subjects or areas of study in mathematics, and then things you can pull from your own home to help kids explore in a really hands-on way, get into those ideas of what that is. Then I have a kind of on the other side of things, I have a whole session on making writing fun. So I love math, but I also love creative writing, kind of split between the 2. So I have a whole blog series and I've turned it into a class session, and I have resources about how to do creative writing, how to make that a fun experience, a lot of writing prompts. So you'll be provided with those writing prompts as well as just a ton of ideas of how to make writing fun for your kids of all ages. And then one that I'm really excited about is my perspective as a teacher and why as a former teacher, and why I truly believe that you do not need a teaching degree to be a successful homeschooler. Perhaps it's even better if you don't have one. So I have a master's in teaching. I've taught in 5 different school districts, including 1 online. Now I'm homeschooling, and it's just such a different world that I kind of explain why you should never feel like if you don't have a teaching degree or experience, that does not prove that, I don't know how to say, that's not an impediment to homeschooling. You can be a completely successful homeschooler without that background. Okay, so it's going to come back to something else. Let me jump on and see if there's comments here. I hope that some of you have been interacting here. Feel free to say hi if you're listening, even if you're on replay. I'd love to see if anybody's finding this information helpful or out there listening to me here. Okay, and I also just kind of tell you what's coming this week. No comments. Okay, you guys feel free to leave me any thoughts on this or where you're tuning in from, what you're doing. Okay, so as far as what's coming this week, I have another class for the Math for Fun Club coming up on Wednesday. That's going along with the activity unit. And then I'll probably come on and talk about scheduling. I'll have my big schedule board and kind of talk you through how I use it and why I don't use that now and what we do instead. And then I have some more ideas, but we'll see I do plan to come on and do an interview with an online math tutoring program that I think is a great resource, especially now that you probably don't have access to an in-person tutor. Going to the online math tutoring route, if that's something you're interested in, could be a really great resource. And there's a program that I found that does a great job of really honing in on what skills your kid needs. So making it completely unique to your kid or all your children in your house, and then providing specific resources for that and hooking you up with an online tutor who can see how you're working it out and then point out any places where you're making mistakes. So I'll have a little interview where they can explain their program better than I'm doing, but that's coming up probably this week as well. So we have a lot coming up. You'll see me on here more often. And please always feel free to let me know what I can do to help you. I know that this is an unprecedented time. We're all really kind of struggling to figure it out, whether we've been homeschooling or we're new to homeschooling. There's a lot to learn in a situation like this. I do have some other kind of teaching stories that I've been realizing are very applicable to real life, just in terms of caring for people, caring for kids. So I'll come back and share those later. But I think this is enough for today. So thank you for watching. And let me know if you have any questions about the conference or anything that I can do to help you make your time at home with your kids a little more profitable and happy. Okay, bye.